Grandma's on the Roof. Pat, April 2020. Why isn't Mom answering her phone? We agreed every Sunday at 9 o'clock before church services since she stopped going in person at 8. Is her stubbornness and independence a blessing or a curse? We had a wonderful call last Sunday. Mom was attending Easter service on Zoom after we hung up. I'm so proud of her and thankful for her home healthcare aide teaching her technology beyond reading her Kindle. Mom driving at 93 years old to church or the store worried me as dangerous. As horrible as COVID-19 sounds, the pandemic shutdown made everything available at home: groceries, book club, and church. Mom said she learned to Zoom with the help of her healthcare taker and was maintaining her social interactions with people half her age. While Mom was receiving chemotherapy in 2017, I gave her a Kindle. She loved carrying multiple books at once and increasing the font size as needed. She loved the search feature for a needed message from the Bible whenever she was experiencing pain. My heart ached whenever I noticed her typing instead of flipping pages. We sat in the hospital room and rarely talked because we were both engrossed in reading. Julie, the nurse, noted our favorite books and later regaled us with how much she enjoyed them. It was a three-person book club with a dangling IV instead of glasses of wine. In 2018, the doctor told Mom that she was in remission. That's when I returned home to Marco Island. I called Mom every Sunday morning whenever I was home in Florida. During the summer, when I was at my Winnetka, Illinois residence, I'd either call or make the 3-hour drive through Chicago and into Michigan. Mom lived in a quaint 3-bedroom, 1-bath in need of TLC home in Kalamazoo since I was in preschool and my brother Henry was born 60 plus years ago. She rejected the idea of living in a retirement facility and could not afford it anyway. Since she refused to move down south with me, the best alternative was to hire help to assist in her care at home. I look at the time. It's been another half hour. I dial her again. It rings and rings. Dear Lord, why isn't she answering? She might be in the bathroom. It's been taking her longer to do everyday tasks, and she has somebody coming 6 days a week. On the 7th day, I call her in the morning. Henry has dinner with her on Sunday nights. We installed an alert button in the bathroom and next to her bed. I'm comforted by the thought that all she needs to do is press it. Or at least I was before the pandemic and before this morning when I haven't gotten any alerts and it's been over an hour and she hasn't answered the phone. Wringing my hands, I wait to call again. I stare at the clock, the second hand smoothly circling the numbers. The minute hand moves invisibly, taunting me. I dial the home healthcare company, but their recording says they will return calls on Monday. The message instructs me to call the police for a wellness check or 911 in an emergency. Lord, forgive me for missing service today. I wait until it's 10:30 and dial Mom one more time. No answer. Maybe Henry decided to go over earlier than usual. I call him. Hey, Patty. I cringe. Normally, I shrug off him calling me Patty instead of Pat, but right now, I can't take any more anxiety. Are you with Mom? No, I'm going over at 5 as usual. Why? She's not answering her phone. I'm worried. I shake out my hands, trying to remain positive. How was last week? Easter dinner with her? Everything was fine. I bought a bunch of groceries and we cooked together. Well, she burnt the dinner rolls while I was carving the ham. But aside from that, it was a 2-person holiday meal. Was she coughing or short of breath? Have you been careful? They say she could be at greater risk because of her age and, of course, her chemo. The wringing of my hands continues. That was 2 years ago. We're both as healthy as anyone can be at our ages. I'd been home the entire time between visits, no human contact. I got groceries delivered to the front porch and I wiped them down before bringing them inside. Have you talked to the healthcare company at all? They're kind of weird with me. They say you are their client and that they can't disclose information to unauthorized people. Who authorizes me? You or mom? I don't know. I tried calling them a minute ago, but they didn't answer. They don't answer on Sundays. I'm calling the police. I hang up on Henry. Searching the internet for a non emergency number in Kalamazoo, Michigan, I dial the police. I need a wellness check on my mom. I blurt out so much. I blurt without so much as a hello. They take both mine and her name and number and address. They inform me that an officer will be there shortly and will give me a call. I jump when the phone buzzes at 11:08. Mrs. Barron, we're at your mother's house. She hasn't answered the door. Could she have taken a trip somewhere? No, she stays home and reads. Have you checked with any hospitals yet? Oh, dear Lord, please let mom be safe. No, she'd be at home. Well, we found her Friday, Saturday, and today's newspapers in the yard. Are you sure she didn't go somewhere for the weekend? I'm sure. I just spoke to my brother. My chest tightens and my pulse beats in my neck like a jumping bean. Do you have the ability to FaceTime? Yes, but I've only used it a couple of times by accident. The officer says, I'll call you back. Just answer. I text Henry. The police are at mom's and she's not answering the door. I wait for the floating dots, but none appear. I was just speaking to him. Why isn't he texting back? Should I have been calling mom daily against her wishes? I did for a while, and she complained I was bothering her. She said the home health care was invasive enough. The phone rings and I hit accept. On the screen is a uniformed policeman wearing a white medical mask. A flash in his eyes tells me he's surprised by my advanced age. I ask, has mom answered the door yet? No, ma'am. Over the man's shoulder, I see a patrol car in the gravel driveway where mom usually parks. Did mom take her car somewhere? Or did Henry or one of the healthcare workers? Do I have your permission to enter the premises? The officer turns the phone to the front door with peeling blue paint. Of course. Do you have a way of getting in without breaking the lock? I witness him turning the handle and opening the door. Does she usually leave the house unlocked? It's not wise in this neighborhood. No, her aides have keys. I could get away without locking the doors on a tropical island, but I always lock them in Winnetka, and mom knows she needs to in Kalamazoo. He points the camera towards the room as he enters. There are no lights on, the orange floral curtains are drawn, and the wood paneling makes the room dark. A flash of sunlight from the front door reflects off her laptop sitting on the coffee table. Hello, is anybody here? The policeman motions the phone to the kitchen. Dirty dishes swamp the counters, overload the table, and clog the sink. My jaw drops, gaping in disbelief. I cringe at what the officer must think. Could Henry have left that mess after Easter dinner? Why wouldn't the healthcare workers have cleaned it up? The man walks down the hall. All the doors are closed, which is unusual. Which room is this? He points at the first one on the right. The bathroom. He knocks hard and yells, Ma'am, are you in there? Turning the phone to his face, he asks, Do I have your permission to open the door? Yes, yes. My heart races faster than before. Could she have COVID-19? Is she lying on the floor? He keeps the phone pointed at his face this time. In a split second, his eyes scan the tiny room. He might have thought the same thing, which is why he didn't show me the bathroom. She's not in here. Which is her bedroom? At the end of the hall. My temples pulse like the telltale heart. I don't know if I'm I don't know if I'll be horrified seeing her in a pool of sweat, dead from the virus, or simply sad if he finds her peacefully lying there, having passed in her sleep of old age. Not here either. He walks around the bed and checks the closet. The policeman kneels and searches under the bed. What? My breath is weak and my palms are sweaty. Sorry, nothing. I was expecting to find her here. I'm just puzzled, that's all. He seems to be trying to read my expression through the phone. Does she go out for walks? It could get up to 60 degrees today, which sure is nice after those sub-freezing temperatures the other day. Only to get her newspapers in the yard. She's a reader. A thought pops into my head. Is her Kindle on the nightstand? Yes. Damn it. My chest tightens and dread fills my body. What? She takes her Kindle everywhere with her. There's a spark of surprise again when I see the man's crinkle. There's a spark of surprise again when I see the man crinkle the crow's feet above his mask. Back when mom was receiving treatments, Julie treated us with respect, unlike some people in their 40s and 50s who thought that we were invisible or taking up space. We would walk into the room and say hello. They would not acknowledge our presence. Do they think age-related thinning gray hair is an older woman's invisibility cloak? Do they see us in a black robe with a sickle? The pandemic proved this attitude was real. Between statements about sacrificing the weak and the rampant deaths in retirement homes, what has happened to society and being a good Christian? The policeman asks about the other room and says, maybe her Kindle died. He opens the second bedroom door, and I'm horrified. There's a year's worth of newspapers stacked up, tons of catalogs, and random takeout containers everywhere. He searches the room for mom and any clues. Third bedroom is packed with boxes, some from the Home Shopping Network, and others I recognize my handwriting from when we separated the sentimental stuff during her cancer treatments. The sides of the boxes are labeled donate. The contents spewed throughout the room. The officer finds the safe in the closet, open and empty. Grandma's on the Roof is coming out Mother's Day of 2024. Go to Amazon and get your copy soon.